You thought you gonna get what I already got. Last time Coach Prime landed himself one, I brought the fishing pole in, rereeled us in a fat one. This one here, ladies and gentlemen, I can't use a fishing pole because this one's an absolute whale. Okay, we might have to just hop on a boat and go whale watching because of how big of a commit this is with Mr. B.J. Green. Roll the damn intro. I flushed my juice down in the club. Mr. B.J. Green from Arizona State. We talked about him just a few days ago, and we're going to get all into it and talk about what it means for this defensive line. He was crystal ball to Ole Miss, but what did I tell you? I said it's huge the fact that Coach Prime is getting B.J. Green to come and visit Colorado, although he is crystal ball to Ole Miss, and he was just done visiting Ole Miss. We compared it back to the list. And what did I say? When Coach Prime gets him on the campus, it's about damn near a lock, okay? I don't know what he says. I don't know what he does, but it's working. He's reeling them in. This is going to be the highest rated, according to PFF, and just star recruiting on 3. He's a 4-star for college rating, the highest rated edge rusher that Colorado has picked up thus far. Look at what we're adding to here at Colorado. Quincy Wiggins, edge from LSU. Obviously, B.J. Green from Arizona State. Keaton Wade from Kentucky. He's a little bit younger. And then Samson Okunlola, who I'm beyond pumped for, originally from Pitt. I've got the wrong thing there. He's not an OT. he's a defensive end. I do apologize for that. But again, big portal additions on top of a few other defensive line players, but this is more so just edge rushers and D-line. Samson Okunlola played a little bit of edge at Pittsburgh. So this D-line, we've been talking about doing a defensive line video. I've been waiting, given the fact that we could see ourselves a monster addition here, and here we go with B.J. Green added to the mix. We talked about his PFF score last time being the highest rated with an overall 80.1. Samson Okunlola came in with a 70.1. Keaton Wade was a little bit younger. I don't think he has much of a PFF grade due to his lack of playing time. And same thing with Quincy Wiggins from LSU. Those guys lacked playing time compared to Samson Okunlola and B.J. Green. So we got a little bit of depth, a little bit of veteran addition to the table, as well as youth with Quincy Wiggins and Keaton Wade from Kentucky. So once was depleted defensive line is now thick and juicy as you could ever imagine, ladies and gentlemen. And again, we're going to break down this defensive line compared to what it was last year, who left, and what they're bringing in. I mean, this damn thing is a complete overhaul from what it was. And by golly, we're going to talk about, too, what this means for the Colorado. Obviously, there is big aspirations to make a run for the playoffs, and this team is really starting to ramp up to be competitive, to be a real legitimate threat, especially in the Big 12, which in my opinion is wide open for the taking headed into next year. So, B.J. Green, 6'1", 275 junior, coming off the edge, baby, okay? Was committed to Washington and Kalen DeBoer, but obviously Kalen DeBoer heading to Alabama, shook a few things up. But the fact that Ole Miss had him crystal balled had me a little concerned. I said that in previous videos, but I also stated, look, that is a jam-packed class. They already pulled out the number 1 edge from the transfer portal in Prince William Island from Florida. So it would have been a very competitive room, but imagine they had Prince on one side and BJ on the other side. By golly, that would have been disgusting. But I also said, look, that money's got to be running thin in the NIL. They have been throwing every dollar they have at the transfer portal. So I'd imagine they're running a little bit thin, ladies and gentlemen. But there was a little bit of little cryptic tweet that popped out today we got to talk about. Big recruiting weekend. Had some studs there from 2025. And from High School Relations, this was tweeted out. Little back signal. And I think it tweeted out and it got edited shortly after it was tweeted out. And I tried to open it up. I thought it said something was coming today. So I don't know if it was alluding to B.J. Green. But when Devin tweeted it, who is, let me make sure I get it right, assistant director of player personnel / high school relations, I would imagine this has to do with high school recruiting, that 2025 class, and not the B.J. Green. I could be wrong here. I would love for this to be a recruiting for 2025 bat call. Either way, it's a W, right? But this was sent out. Now, let's talk about this, because this is who was here this weekend. Julian Lewis, who is the second-rated quarterback, obviously behind Bryce Underwood, who is currently committed to LSU, alongside with the number 1 wide receiver and running back to LSU currently. When Bryce Underwood was making his announcement, obviously we had a watch party. There was a lot of heat that he could possibly come to Colorado. Now, still plenty of time, long way to go. But looks like Colorado may have moved on by having Julian Lewis, who is currently committed to USC. But I'm going to show you something here in just a moment on why I wouldn't really get too caught up in this guy committed to USC. But he was obviously there this weekend. Then we get the bat signal. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be Julian Lewis, but I mean, the timing of it is just impeccable. Okay. So on 3, they do a great job of having it broken down by how they feel a school is going to land. Obviously, right now, he's committed to USC, but you see Georgia leads the way with a 24.5, followed by Alabama at 12.3, then Florida at 5.2. This is probably one of the closer battles in recruiting and percentage-wise that I've seen in a very long time. Now, USC has been a flounder with recruiting and portal movements with Lincoln Riley ever since his blunder with Caleb Williams last year. They lost their quarterback in Malachi Nelson to Boise State. So that quarterback room is wide open, but it is very interesting. Malachi Nelson, one of the top-rated quarterbacks last year, after 1 year, one and done off to Boise State. So USC's big question mark. Georgia, obviously known for landing big-time guys. Lost out on Dylan Raiola, so definitely beatable. And Bama with getting DeBoer is going to change things, but we know what DeBoer can do with quarterbacks, so that you have to still consider them to be a legitimate threat. It's not the Bama of old as of now, so you can't look at that logo and just think, oh, it's Nick Saban anymore, right? It's Kalen DeBoer, which we don't know what we're getting, but there is a little bit of an opening there. So we'll love to see how this visit goes, but we've talked about it time and time again. When BJ Green was crystal ball to Ole Miss, I said, look, we've been watching this thing break down. These recruiting sites seem to miss every single time on the Colorado. I don't know why, but they be operating different out there in Boulder, okay? And I said that for the fact that he is visiting after being crystal ball to Ole Miss tells you a lot, okay? We have Julian Lewis visit. We get the bat signal here, okay? And you see that percentage there being kind of wide open. So that quarterback is a very important piece. I've been stating this for a very long time. Bryce Underwood was huge. I talked about Madden Limalova. I'm butchering his last name. I do apologize. And it's Nico's little brother, 4-star quarterback from California. Obviously, he is high on Colorado's list as well. I would expect and imagine that Colorado would like to get a quarterback as soon as possible for 2025 so they could head into this recruiting cycle with a base. Having your quarterback as early as possible is absolutely massive. Dylan Raiola flipping to Nebraska as late as he did was a little, uncanny for quarterbacks. They usually they get established as soon as possible. Even Julian Sainz switching to Ohio State there at the end, but a little bit different situation with Nick Saban heading into retirement. So, again, keep the eyes peeled, keep the bell turned on in case anything does break. We will be ready to rock and roll. And be sure to smash the like button and subscribe. We're almost at 9,000 subs. This family is growing like an absolute weed. Do appreciate you guys joining the family and smashing that like button. Incredible community. You guys are always supporting them and showing a lot of love. So much appreciated. But ultimately, BJ Green locks it in, makes his commitment. This defensive line is going to be huge. We'll be having that breakdown video shortly. We're just north of 81 scholarships now for the Buffs. I believe that's where that puts us at. So a couple more still opening. We'll see how it rolls. I think May is going to be a big recruiting cycle as well, to our transfer portal cycle, especially with Michigan. Things have closed up now for guys able to sign with that spring class, so I'd expect the portal to slow down. But May, just with how the back half has ended up in this portal cycle, I expect it to be a bumping and a jumping. So lots to talk about as we go on from now until, obviously, the spring game and May. So we're going to have a blast here. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.